I'm Katie.
I'm Anna.
She's a psychotherapist.
And she runs a photography empire. Together we make music and we podcast
to encourage ourselves
and you
to do the things that scare us most.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doing Scary Things podcast. I'm here in person with Katie.
Dun, 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 dun.
And if you can't tell, we're very excited today. I know we say we're excited a lot, but
We've had the coffee today.
Yeah, we've had the coffee, we've had all the coffee shop experiences, and now we are bringing our energy to you. So
yes, I was wondering if we should tell the pumpkin story really quick.
Maybe we should.
Okay.
It was just, everybody has awkward drive-through interactions, right? Like, it's not just us. It can't be. So we were driving through a Starbucks that shall not be named, based on its location, and the gentleman at the window asked me if I wanted, like, a plug for my coffee cup, but
she looked really confused for a second.
Yes.
And then she said, absolutely!
Yes, I did, because there was a little miscommunication. My coffee, it was just plain coffee with the pumpkin cold foam because 'tis the season. Try it if you haven't, it's delicious. But I thought that this gentleman was telling me that the plug for my coffee was going to be a little pumpkin. And I was really excited about that.
To be clear, there was no miscommunication on his part.
Right.
He definitely didn't say that.
No, he didn't.
But
I just had like an auditory dyslexia moment and thought that's what he meant. And so I was really excited. And he even commented about it and said, like, what did he say?
You won the award for most enthusiastic.
Yeah.
He actually said, wow, nobody's ever been that excited. Which I was thinking, because I was thinking, wow, Anna, like, I thought you were just going to drink the coffee, but you're really excited about the plastic plug.
And I was already I already had plans for that pumpkin plug to put them in next to my little succulents in my plants on my back porch because I like...
That is how fast your brain works.
Yeah.
Literally seconds, and you were going to recycle.
Yes.
At least you weren't going to throw it in the ocean. Because,
that's right.
Let's be real.
I was going to have a cute little...
You got to fight for straws these days because of ocean issues.
You do. And yeah, it was going to have cute little Thanksgiving cheer in my plants. But, anyway.
So that didn't work out, guys. But something that is working out that we're super excited about today is we're actually releasing our album.
Yes, the whole kit and caboodle, which is really exciting. If you've been following along with our scary thing this whole time, it's been about recording and releasing and writing music and
actually showing it to people.
Actually, that's right. Actually doing the dang thing. So, we've been releasing these songs over the course of the last year. But what you may not know is that at the beginning of this process, I think we went back and forth about how many songs did we want to record and what kind of a project was this going to be. And we had to decide all those things at certain points in the process, but we were always wanting to do them kind of as like one body of work that are related to each other, that sort of go together. And, now we finally get to bring it to you in that form, which is really cool and is kind of, the cherry on top of this whole project for us.
Yeah. When we were choosing the songs to record, we weren't at all thinking of them as singles. We were thinking of this as an album. Mm-hmm. It definitely, for the most part, represents a very specific time in our life. Even if that time period did stretch over several years, we were, writing and processing about certain events in our life. And so it really did feel like a cohesive project. And so it just feels so good to actually have that in that form. We have brand new artwork.
Yep.
Could not be more excited about releasing it as an album. Because we had originally thought we were going to release it as an album, we had already recorded about a year ago, probably, maybe longer. We'd already recorded a little clip of us talking about how we decided to name the album. So we wanted to go ahead and play it for you guys now.
We're going to let our past selves tell you all about that.
The name of the album, dun dun dun,
comes from Deathbed.
It's going to be called Whisper. And we toiled.
I was just thinking, if you don't hear the word whisper in Deathbed, then
you need to get your ears checked. Because
immediately.
Here's another thing for all of you other musicians out there. I mean, I know I'm a beginner, but I'm just going to throw this out. If there is a word that you say on your album more than like 17 times, maybe consider it as your album title.
Yes, because we actually didn't think of it.
We didn't even think about it.
For a while.
We were driving from Atlanta to Nashville one night. I was driving. Anna had her laptop out. She was going through every lyric of every song because we wanted to do this cool thing where we didn't call the album like the title of one of the songs. So,
but we wanted it to be related.
Yeah, so we wanted it to be a lyric. So she's writing down all these phrases, everything from like really funny things, sarcastic things,
to just like deep and like mysterious, or just like one word, one cool word, or a cool phrase.
Yeah. And nothing really stuck with us. And I kept telling her, because this is pretty much how I make every decision in life. My husband hates it. But I kept telling her, we're just going to know when we know. Like, we're going to have a moment where it's going to just be really obvious to both of us. And she's awesome because she totally was on board with that. She totally believed me and was good with that. So that moment came when, and I guess the ending wasn't, the ending was finished. This was the very end of recording.
Right, because
all the songs with Josiah.
Yeah, so we were listening and doing like final tweaks in the studio of all the songs, I think.
Yep, we had them in order.
Yeah, we were listening to them as they're going to be on the album to see how they felt next to each other and stuff. But it was, I mean, hearing that super epic whole song of Deathbed, but especially the build up at the end in the studio speakers and just like blasting and melting our faces off was amazing.
Because for people who don't know or who haven't been through this process, so when a producer, is working on a project, they have their speakers in studio the way it's supposed to sound, right? And a lot of that gets lost in translation, especially if you're listening on your laptop or you're listening on your phone, or, maybe you're listening in your car and some setting is off. Like, it's not going to sound exactly like it sounds to the producer in studio.
Right.
So we had the privilege of like sitting there in the middle of the speakers and
in the sweet spot,
really loud. And so literally the second half of that song starts and I looked at Anna and I just said, we could call it Whisper. And I think her mouth dropped open again.
I just have a problem with my jaw. It just doesn't stay.
Get that fixed. No, but we were both had that moment. The moment I said we would have, like we had it. We were both just like, oh my gosh, yes.
Totally,
but also, why didn't we think of that sooner? We say that word so many times.
Yeah.
Let me just take you back to that moment. We high-fived. I definitely had tears in my eyes. Josiah's staring at the computer. He turns around. We've clearly just had a moment, but
among ourselves.
I just remember thinking, he thinks we're crazy for sure. Like, he just looked at us like, what did I miss? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And we were like, we have the name to our album.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great moment.
It was a great moment. I think I had tears in my eyes, too.
We were both crying.
Yeah. So that was, in the moment, in the studio, the moment that it occurred to us, like, oh my gosh, this is meant to be the title of this project. It's so cool. But it actually came to mean more to us later, the more we kind of thought about it. And, it's one of those things, I think there was a lot of intuition or kind of like a recognition that that's it. Like, that's what it's going to be called. And then we reflected on it more, and it came to mean a lot more to us later, too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think once we actually had time to sit and talk, we were probably driving home, it instantly kind of meant the same thing to both of us, which was really exciting because we were, it had been our scary thing. This had been something that we each had different types of fears surrounding. And so we started talking about how, sometimes you do feel paralyzed with fear. And like, what can you do? We talk about that all the time on the show. You can take a step. You can, take one tiny step of action. And so for us, calling the album Whisper is like a reminder of that, because it's like, if you can't even form the words to say out loud, you can start by whispering.
Right.
And for me specifically, I can remember times in my life wanting to sing so badly and like being alone even and opening my mouth and no sound coming out. And there was just so much fear surrounding that for whatever reason, and maybe your fears are like that too. Like there's absolutely no rationality behind it. But for whatever reason, you're just paralyzed in it. And so for me, that really has a lot of extra meaning.
Yeah, totally. It's like, share what you have, put it out into the world, even if the loudest you can be is a whisper at first.
Yeah.
And I think it's true. Like for us, we were kind of not necessarily like full on in secret writing music together, but it was like private. Like we didn't really share about it publicly at all. I think people even now finding out about the music we've already recorded and released are like, what?
Yeah.
Some people just didn't even know, and to no fault of their own. But, for us, this is like our first thing that we're putting out into the world. And I think it's really rooted in a deep conviction that we both have that it's important. It's not that like, oh, our music is the most important music in the world. We love it and we think it's great, but it's the act of putting it into the world. Like we're here on the earth, on the planet to contribute, And
well, I think what we think is important is everybody doing that thing.
Yes.
I think the world would be so different if we all were reaching in and doing the hard and scary things.
Right.
Instead of just, doing the cop out, like this is easy, whatever.
Or just daydreaming about them. It's like bridging that gap from, experiencing something about your scary thing internally and bringing it out into your real life.
Yeah.
Like that's where the whisper happens, That's what takes you from one to the other.
Yeah, again, for me personally, like the amount my life changed from just giving myself permission to do this in private is exponential. Like I can't even explain it, giving myself that freedom, and how that transformed my happiness, my, just everything that matters in life, So this is what we're here for. If there's something in you that you feel that way about or you haven't started, just take the first step. Like, you don't even have to tell somebody out loud. Just start. And, so hopefully that connects and that makes sense.
If you have not yet accepted the invitation to do your version of that, your whisper, this is your invitation. Like, even if you've been listening to us for a year and you still haven't, sort of pulled the trigger on something or made some little step or made some little movement towards what you really want or feel drawn to, then now's your time. It's not too late and you have right now.
So guys, we're so excited to be releasing this album, like we said, once and for all in its proper form.
Yes.
We are not releasing it on Spotify or Apple iTunes or anything like that. You can only get it in the album form on our website. It's got brand new artwork. The amazing John Packer has done, I almost said no relation, but there is relation.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to comment on the relation.
Yes. Secret relation. Private. Anyway. The amazing John Packer has done all of our artwork, and we are going to be posting about that more on the band Instagram and stuff, just because we love the artwork. We're so proud. But so we've got new artwork, and you can buy the digital album from our site. You can also buy the physical album, and of course, those are pretty limited, but we do have those available, and we would love to send you a little extra love in the mail if you do order that version. And Yeah, that can be bought at our site, doingscarythings.com.
Yeah. And, for all you other Yahoos rocking car CD players still, we got you covered.
We can help you with that.
Yes. I am totally one of those Yahoos. That's why I can call everyone
Yahoos.
else a Yahoo.
Never heard that word in a while.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, unless you don't have a CD player, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, you could have our faces in your car and our voices.
Yeah. Everything but our bodies, really.
This is getting weird. And John Packer's artwork. Bethany and Brian Scott did the photo that's on the cover, and we love it. So I look angry, but I wasn't.
But I wasn't. I love it. I think it's intense. And yeah, that reflects a lot of the stuff in our music.
So. RBF a little, but it happens.
It does happen. For those of you who are counting, that's 6 songs for $5.
That is a deal.
It is a deal. Digital or hard copy for the Yahoos.
Also, if we can figure this out, if you buy the physical copy, I will still email you a link to download the digital.
Yeah,
you get
it'll
both.
Be
so you should do that one.
You just should.
You should do that one. We'll write you a note. We'll probably draw smiley faces and hearts or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you for allowing us to share our scary thing with you guys. It really is therapeutic and just such an important part of this process for us to take time to be able to do our thing as well.
Yeah, it's a huge honor, and we love getting to experience, even I have a little bit of jitters just releasing this. Just the thought of somebody having our CD in their car is giving me butterflies a little bit, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's wow, it's,
I think it's a necessary step in any kind of process like this.
I think so too. And
speaking of a really exciting thing in our personal lives, we are actually in Jacksonville Beach right now because we've had a little writing retreat, a little 2-day break from the year that was 2019.
Oh my gosh, see you later.
And for the first time in a while for us, we at least got to work on some music together. Mm-hmm. And so this is just the beginning. We might be recording some more songs soon. And again, it feels so good to be able to do that thing.
Yep.
And if you're not doing it, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, as we've been here having a little writing retreat at the beach, which is one of our most inspiring places, turns out. Mm-hmm. I've just really noticed how, and I think maybe it's because we haven't done this in a while. We haven't been able to just totally dive into music together in person for days at a time. It's been a long time since we've been able to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just such a different experience. It was surprising to me how energizing it was. I think when you're first starting and you're first, putting your toe over the line and really, stepping into doing something scary, it feels like it costs you a lot. It feels oh my gosh, this is hard and it's scary, and you know what I mean? I'm just really grateful for it. And I also just want to throw it out there because there are surprises all along the way, good ones and bad ones. 2019's had a lot of bad ones, but this was a really good one, and it makes me excited to work on it.
There was a period a couple months ago where a lot was happening. I shared on here about a personal tragedy and just a lot was going on. I had a lot of different types of things I was trying to accomplish professionally. And I just felt very strongly that for whatever reason, I needed to put music on the back burner for that period of my life. And it didn't come from a place of not wanting to do music or anything like that. It was just literally I cannot physically do all the things to function. And I just want to say that as an encouragement because I did that and I was supportive. It was scary because I thought, I wasn't sure how long of a break that would be. I wasn't sure what that looked like, if we'd ever get to kind of work on music together again. I wasn't sure what I was giving up, essentially. But fast forward only a couple months and we had this great writing trip planned. And to be honest, like we love doing the podcast work, but it really has taken a lot of our time the past year. You know, we could have come here and worked on podcast stuff. And I think definitely I think both of us just had this overwhelming, like what we really need is to forget about the to-do list. We need to just write.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like what you were saying. It's almost like people tell you to do the hardest task of the day when you first wake up because your brain is a muscle, and when you're sleeping, it is rested and you can think more clearly. It was that feeling. It was like, I haven't used this part of myself in so long, and it's refreshed now.
Yeah.
And it, you know, we banged out some songs and it was great.
Yeah, and it's true, like my inclination, and I'm guessing a lot of people are like this too, is always, you know, I'm trying to optimize my time. I'm trying to be efficient. And many times for me, that means, you know, I'm going to pick the low-hanging fruit first. I'm going to knock the things off the list that aren't going to take as long. But what they do take is that sort of first, you know, first energy of the day. You can't get that back, you know? And we did make a really, even though like that's figurative, like we got here, the first night we got here, it was evening, it was after dinner time. And we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to jump into music, or do we want to like work on a to-do list that we certainly have, you know? And we did, we made a very conscious choice to go, all right, let's put music first and not try to say, well, we'll get to that with whatever time we have left over after the to-do list. That was just not the strategy for this trip.
Well, and we got it all done. But the point that I was trying to make for the listeners is like, if you have to take a break, if you have limitations and you have to take a break or come back to it later, it is still going to be there. And so most importantly, just remember to come back to it later. As always, we're cheering everybody on. Please remember to follow us on our Instagram accounts. If you're not doing that already, we're at Doing Scary Things. We also have a band account that's at jasperandjade.music. We also newly started a Facebook group, so find us on Facebook. Obviously, it's called the Doing Scary Things podcast. Then we have a closed discussion group called Doing Scary Things Together. And guys, that is where we're going to really start diving into some discussion questions. That's where you get to meet like-minded people who are also out there doing scary things. We've already heard from people who are writing cookbooks and making films and just all kinds of interesting things, and I'm just so excited to connect with you guys on there. So make sure you are subscribed to the page and in the group, and we will see you on there.
Yes, we made those places for you, so come and be there with us. Also, our website where you can get our album, digital or digital plus physical copy.
It's jasperandjademusic.com and also doingscarythings.com. So, yep, that's the only place in the world you can get it. So, hop on it.
We'll be back on the airwaves with you a couple more times this year, and we wish you all the best and all the motivation and inspiration to do your scary thing.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed the episode today. Subscribe to the podcast. Remember, you can get our first album called Whisper directly on our site, doingscarythings.com. Join us on Instagram and Facebook, and our private discussion group on Facebook is Doing Scary Things Together. We'll see you there.
Oh, hey.
1,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, background, yeah.
8. I've already lost 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22. 23. 24.
Oh, so good.
25,
25. 26.
7.
Wait.
At least 28.
At least.
I think there were some we probably missed.